Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Waters, along with Kennedy, Jessica Tarlov, Martha McCallum, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. President Trump blitzing Capitol Hill to save the day on the big, beautiful bill and smacking Republican holdouts into line. He popped up at 4 separate camera stakeouts to close the deal and, of course, couldn't resist but to comment on the Biden cover-up.
We're going to start looking into this whole thing with who signed this legislation. Who signed legislation opening our border? I don't think he knew. I said there's nobody that could want an open border. Nobody. And now I find out that it wasn't him. He auto-penned it. Who was operating the auto-pen? No sane person would sign it. You know who signed it? Radical left lunatics that were running our country, and the auto-pen signed it. And they didn't want him, and they were disappointed in getting him because they wanted Bernie Sanders. And then after about 2 weeks, they said, wait a minute, this is a gift. He'll do anything.
But Democrats in the media, who blew their credibility by participating in the cover-up, are loudly telling people there's nothing to see here.
They literally are trying to take health care, and Republicans want to fan the flames of conspiracy theories at this moment. No, thank you.
I don't think this is a time for politics, but what I will say is that this administration has cut cancer funding research, and I think that's so despicable and so disdainful.
According to a spokesman, Joe Biden's last known prostate-specific antigen test was in 2014, and his first cancer diagnosis was last Friday. Meanwhile, Joe Scarborough is saying, F you, if you dare call him Biden's lapdog.
There were plenty of days in public when he was not the best Biden ever, and of course, shortly after,
he stumbled and bumbled around. Mark, I mean, yeah, he certainly did. Donald Trump did. Other politicians did. It's actually the same case as a lot of times when I've gone in and talked to Donald Trump. That didn't seem to me to get in the way of Joe Biden being able to analyze the most important issues. And I certainly think he has a better grasp on it than probably the overwhelming majority of his critics, or certainly did when I spoke with him.
And Kennedy, the media is handling this Biden cover-up in a funny way. There's factions that are breaking off. Explain how people are dealing with this.
Well, Joe Scarborough is in denial, and his words will come back to haunt him for as long as he is on the air, because he was the guy, and he's trying to kind of shellac it, gloss over it a little bit right now, give it a favorable finish, which isn't going to do any good, because when you go back and look at the original tape, he's like, this is the best Joe Biden. And he keeps going back to analysis, like his analysis is spot on. He is sharp. He is fast. And it's like, no, he was a withering vegetable who had real problems, and everyone around him knew it. And now they're all going on and off the record to a number of different authors. We've got 4 books and counting about Biden's cognitive decline that tell the opposite picture of the magical interactions that Joe Scarborough and Joe Biden had, which, you know, all you had to do was look at Joe Biden every other second of the day to know that something was terribly wrong. And the prostate cancer, the metastatic prostate cancer, that diagnosis is awful, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. You know, it's terribly sad and concerning that a family has to deal with something like that, but they have managed to politicize it. And you have to think logic would dictate that they've known about that diagnosis for a long time. It is incredibly inconvenient for his post-presidency, because the other post-presidencies have been very lucrative in modern history, and he will not get to enjoy that. And so it feels like they kind of put that news in there because they were bookended by the Her tapes and, of course, the book that came out today, Original Sin, and they both draw a very damning portrait. So there are people who say, you know, like Sonny Hostin, like, we can't make this about politics. It's like, if this were Trump, it would be impeachment. It would be like, impeach him for what he did, 75 years ago. Impeach him for everything. It would be a full nuclear holocaust. So you can't have it both ways. It's either completely political and everything is on the table, or the entire thing was a lie, and we have to move on completely from the Democrat establishment.
You're a goddamn genius!
Goddamn genius! really disgusting.
Isn't it, Kennedy?